Hold on to your seats because today we're diving into a story that could shake the very foundation of global finance. Imagine a coin that isn't traded on Binance or Coinbase, a coin that's mined not by billion-dollar mining farms, but by ordinary people using their phones. It sounds like something straight out of a futuristic sci-fi film, but it's happening right now. In countries from Nigeria to Vietnam, Pi Network is quietly making its mark, and it could be El Salvador's ticket out of a major crypto disaster. Could Pi Network actually be the key to reviving economies and even dethroning Bitcoin? Stick around as we dig into the juicy leaks, the whispers of a massive shift in power, and how a coin that's still flying under the radar could become the next big thing in crypto. But before we go deeper, I want to hear from you. Do you think Pi Network has the potential to change the game, or is it just another crypto dream? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're looking to stay updated on all things Pi, make sure to check out my previous videos for the latest Pi Network updates. Link in the description. Also, don't forget to drop Pi Network to the moon, along with your country's name in the comments section below. Show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing so we can bring you more Pi Network updates. Join us on Telegram and Facebook too for even more discussions. A quick disclaimer, this video is for entertainment purposes only. Nothing here is financial advice. With that said, let's dive in. As the world watches El Salvador's risky experiment with Bitcoin, there's a new player quietly making its way into the global crypto scene. Bitcoin, the darling of the digital revolution, was supposed to save El Salvador from the crushing weight of traditional financial systems. But instead, it brought chaos, wild price fluctuations, a crashed wallet, and protests. So what's next? Is President Nayib Bukele, who famously bet $100 million on Bitcoin and saw it plummet, about to jump ship for a mysterious new coin called Pi Network? It's a coin that's not even listed on major exchanges like Binance or Coinbase, yet it's being used for everything from land purchases in Nigeria to paying rent in Vietnam. Pi Network is on the move. This isn't just crypto speculation. This is about a new economy being built by the very people who have been left behind by the traditional financial system. And it could all come down to what Bukele does next. On September 7, 2021, El Salvador became the first country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. Bukele became a hero for some, a madman for others. His plan was bold: help the 70% of Salvadorans without bank accounts and cut down on expensive remittance fees. However, the dream didn't play out as expected. Bitcoin's volatility hit hard, crashing the Chivo wallet and making everyday transactions a nightmare. The promise of financial freedom turned into a gamble, with Bitcoin's price swings making even simple purchases feel like a roll of the dice. Yet Bukele didn't fold. He doubled down, buying more Bitcoin at an average price of $45,000 per coin, even as the value steadily dropped. As of today, Bukele's Bitcoin holdings have lost around $40 million. But here's the kicker: he hasn't sold a single coin. Why? Some say it's pride, others suspect he's already planning his next move. Sources close to Bukele have hinted that he's been quietly researching alternatives to Bitcoin, coins that don't require massive energy consumption and can be mined right from a smartphone. Could Pi Network be the coin Bukele has in mind? Pi Network is different. Unlike Bitcoin, Pi doesn't need billion-dollar mining farms or vast amounts of electricity. Instead, it's mined by millions of everyday people who use their phones to mine the coin. This is where Pi Network starts to turn heads. The Pi Network is like no other cryptocurrency out there. It's decentralized, it's driven by real people, and it's making its way into the real-world economy in ways Bitcoin hasn't. In Nigeria, farmers are using Pi to buy land. In Vietnam, stores are accepting Pi as payment. Even in Texas, a real estate firm is taking Pi for down payments. Now let's be clear about one thing. Pi isn't listed on major exchanges like Coinbase or Binance. It's not being bought and sold by traders speculating on its price. Instead, Pi's value is being set by people, ordinary people, in everyday transactions. One Pi might not seem like much, but in places like Venezuela, it can buy a week's worth of groceries. In El Salvador, it's starting to gain traction as a reliable store of value, something Bitcoin was never able to achieve. But here's the big question: could Pi really be the key to solving El Salvador's economic woes? The country has already lost millions on Bitcoin. But what if Pi could replace Bitcoin as the country's main cryptocurrency? If Pi reaches even $1 per coin, Bukele could recoup his Bitcoin losses. while also giving Salvadorans an economic tool they can use every day, without worrying about the massive energy drain that comes with Bitcoin mining. Pi is not just a coin, it's part of a larger movement. It's about creating a new kind of economy, one that doesn't rely on central banks or big money players. It's about giving ordinary people, particularly those in developing nations, the ability to mine and use crypto directly from their phones. And while critics may call it a gamble, for over 60 million users worldwide, Pi is more than just a digital asset. It's hope. But let's not get too carried away. Pi's ecosystem is still in the early stages. There's talk of decentralized applications, dApps, being developed, but they're still largely unavailable. The promised Mainnet is more of a partial launch, with the true decentralized ecosystem still in the works. And let's not forget that if Bukele adopts Pi as El Salvador's official currency, he could face serious pushback from international players like the US and China. If the US decides to freeze dollar remittances or block Pi transactions, the consequences could be severe. And if China brands Pi as a threat, El Salvador could lose trade deals, loans, and diplomatic ties. But here's where things get interesting. If Pi succeeds, it won't just be another cryptocurrency, it could be a symbol of sovereignty. For Bukele, adopting Pi could mean stepping away from the IMF, the US dollar, and the banks that have kept El Salvador tethered to the global financial system. And if Pi catches on, Bukele could become the face of a new movement, a rebellion against the status quo. However, this isn't a risk-free venture. If Pi fails to deliver on its promises, the consequences could be disastrous. But Pi's potential isn't tied to its price on exchanges, it's tied to its utility. In the slums of Rio, the farms of Africa, and the streets of Manila, Pi's value isn't measured in dollars, it's measured in the goods and services it can buy. The more people use Pi, the more valuable it becomes. This is a coin that's truly driven by the people. So what does the future hold for Pi and for Bukele? Will Pi become the next big thing in crypto? Or will it crash and burn like so many before it? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. Pi's rise or fall could reshape the global financial landscape forever. Today, we took a deep dive into the intriguing potential of Pi Network and how it could become El Salvador's answer to the crypto disaster that Bitcoin turned out to be. We explored how Pi is quietly gaining traction in countries across the globe, from Nigeria to Vietnam, and how it could offer Salvadorans the financial stability that Bitcoin failed to deliver. But is Pi ready for the big leagues? That's the million-dollar question, and only time will tell. If you found this video interesting, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue bringing you the latest updates on Pi Network and the world of crypto. I want to hear from you. What do you think about Pi? Could it really change the game, or is it just another crypto fad? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you have any questions or contributions, feel free to leave them there as well. I'd love to hear your opinions. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep mining and stay curious.